not too long ago here on the channel as part of the Rambo Survival Knife series, where we take a look at different hollow handle survival knives. We took a look at this knife, the Rambo Survival Knife, which as many people noticed was a pretty direct copy of the famous Buckmaster 184 survival knife, which is out of production. However, I found one, and so what we're going to do in this video is take a look at the real deal, genuine Buckmaster 184. That's what's coming up next here on Survival on Purpose. Welcome back to Survival on Purpose, your home for information and gear reviews related to camping, survival, and general preparedness for regular folks. My name is Brian. Thanks for joining me. So, as I said, the Buckmaster 184 has been out of production for several years now, and the closest I could come recently was this Rothko Rambo survival knife, which is made in Taiwan, and it's a pretty decent copy of the Buckmaster 184. But honestly, reviewing this knife really piqued my interest in the 184, so I started looking around seeing if I could find one. I was able to find one on eBay. Actually, I found a few on eBay, and I bid on some of them, and the pricing quickly went above 600 bucks, and I just did not continue that bidding process. But I was able to pick up one for under $400, and then as I won that bid, I saw another one come up, which looked a little nicer actually, for a little bit less. So I wound up with two of these. Now, quite honestly, my plan is to sell these after this video and kind of recover my review budget, so to speak. But I wanted to try to get my hands on one to just so I could show it to you and play with it and really try to see, you know, maybe what the difference is between this $40 knife and this just under $400 knife. I don't know what these things cost when they were new, but anyway, I gotta say, I think this is a really cool knife, and we're gonna take you down to the old stump top and take a closer look at it right after this word from one of our sponsors. This video is sponsored by my friends at clickbelts.com, where you can save 15% by using the coupon code SOP15 at checkout. ClickBelts feature genuine Cobra buckles, and they are, by the way, the only place I know of that you can get anodized Cobra buckles for the colors. They have a full lifetime warranty, and they are sewn right here in the USA in the great state of Texas. And they have some of the best customer service I've ever seen. They've even got the really cool TSA-friendly poly Cobra buckle now. So if you're looking for a very, very strong, very cool belt, I encourage you to check out the folks at clickbelts.com. Don't forget, use the coupon code SOP15 to save 15%. Okay, we are back. We are down at the old stump top, and this is the two Buckmaster 184s that I bought on eBay. And just to be clear, I'm going to be selling one or both of these after I complete this video. So what I'll do is I'll wait about a week after this video comes out. If you're maybe interested in buying one of these, and then let me know in the comment section below. I'll give the viewers of this video first crack at them anyway, because they are getting harder and harder to find. And real quick, before we look at the knives, I just bought this book from Buck Knives as research for the video, because it's got some information in here that I think that I wanted to share with you. So, and there's a lot of other information about the history of these knives and the different iterations as they were designing them and custom stuff and all. That's pretty interesting. Also, by the way, Knife Center has a video from this year's SHOT Show where they talked to the author of this book, Richard Newman, and a former commander with the Navy SEALs that is in process of designing a new Buckmaster style knife. So if you might want to check that out, I'll put a link to that up in the corner here so you can go check that out if you want to. Anyway, let's talk about these two knives first of all. So as you can see, they're both Buck sheaths. It says Buck right there. That one says patent pending, and that one is just a Buck sheath. So the sheaths themselves are both Buck sheaths. This one, however, this is the original style sheath with a buckle here, and so this is the original strapping on the sheath, the original snap here. And then if you lift up the back of it, originally there was a sharpening stone here. The sharpening stone is missing on this one, which is pretty common. This one is not the original strap. Somebody added this, and it's just got a little belt loop here. It doesn't have the buckle system on it like this one. So, but this knife, it looks like it's in a little better shape. It came with the grapple pegs, pins. This one did not. Really, that's the main difference. This one is the black oxide finish. This one is a powder, I think it's bead blasted. And the other difference you can see is this one has a little bit taller end cap than this one. Both these are waterproof O-ring sealed end caps with a hollow cavity in there, but this one was the earlier design and the little shorter ones came out a little bit later. So both of these knives, the best I can tell, were from the at least after 1987. So they were the last series kind of the knives, as far as I can tell, because the Buckmaster in the Fuller here, and the other side has the 184 U.S. patent pending 4622707 in here, and they both have that. So these are like the next to the last iteration. They had originally they didn't have this in the Fuller. They had it stamped here on the right there at the next to the ricasso or handguard. So there's that. So let's talk about the specs of these things. They both have exactly the same specs except for the cap. So we'll look at the silver one because it's a little easier to see on the old stump top. So first of all, let's talk about the sheath. Originally the sheaths came with a pouch here and a pouch here, much like the Ramster here, as you can see. So it's very, very similar. The Ramster is a very, very similar design. Pretty good knockoff. The you know, the nylon's not as stiff, or it doesn't seem to be quite sewn as well as the Buck one, but it's pretty close to the same looking design anyway. And then it has a pouch up top. So there was a pouch here with a compass in it and a pouch here that held the two pins. Inside the sheath there is a kind of like a metal springy thingy. I don't think you can see it in there. I don't think you can, but that just retains the knife in there very well. So you slide it in, it just holds the knife in place. Keeps it from, you know, you can shake it out, but it keeps it from just falling out. And then the snap just goes right over the handguards. So let's talk about the specs of this knife, and then we'll show you the difference between this one and the Ramco. And then we'll get to doing a little knife stuff. We're probably going to use the other one with the black oxide one with the knife stuff because the finish is worse on it, and it's already kind of scratched up. I'm going to try to sell these things again, so there's no sense in beating them both up. But these Buckmasters feature a 7.5-inch blade of 5/16 inch 425M steel with a full hollow grind. And these blades on the Buckmasters are forged blades, so they're very, very well-made stainless steel blades. I didn't really mention this, but these were designed for the Navy SEALs, so they're designed for amphibious operations, so everything is stainless. The handguard is stainless, the handle is stainless, the butt cap is stainless, the lanyard hole is stainless, the pins are stainless, it's all stainless. The Rockwell hardness on this blade is 57 plus, and to the top of the ricasso, this part of the blade, it's about 6 3/4 inches. So you can look at it, again a full hollow grind. They did that on purpose so it's easier to sharpen, but it still gives you a pretty good bit of strength. It has on the top side, this is a pull cut saw, and these things are sharp. The design of these things is they're not really as intended for wood. They're designed to cut maybe to allow them to cut their way out of a vehicle roof or an airplane hull or something like that. These teeth are raised exactly 15 thousandths of an inch above the back of the blade just to give you a maximum cut without binding, and there's just a slight amount of taper from I guess from here to here. So they're tapered just slightly to keep them from binding as well. And they are very sharp. And then on the back of the clip point blade, the Bowie style blade, there's a serrated edge for cutting rope or fabric or something like that underwater. And then there's a very, very solid handguard here, and these pins screw into the handguard. These pins are rated and designed to hold 275 pounds. And when we did the Ramco video, kind of thought these were like a grappling hook, but they're not really designed like to throw up into an elevated position and pull yourself up. They're really intended more as an emergency anchor or something they could fasten their gear to and keep it from floating away, something like that, or maybe tie their, used to tie their boat, their inflatables up to, or something like that. They're not for throwing up and climbing castle walls, so to speak. 7/8 of an inch knurled, hollow, round handle, very, very grippy there. The handle itself is 4 inches long, and the anchor pins on this model are 2 inches. Some of the later models had 1.5 inch pins on them. So got a nice O-ring in there, very, very watertight. And the O-ring has a little shoulder here that you can see to seal against. And then inside, you can see that inside there, it is sealed with an epoxy. So basically, the tang goes through here and it comes down. It's got a nut on it, and it threads on, and then it's filled with epoxy. So this is a fairly heavy knife. It weighs 1 pound 8 ounces, just the knife, just itself. So it's a beast. And with the sheath is about 2 pounds 2 ounces. So anyway, that's the specs of the 184. Before we get to doing the knife stuff, what I thought it'd be cool to do is just kind of show you the difference between, some of the differences I could see between this one and the Ramco. Because first of all, you can see right off the bat the difference in thickness. So here's the Buckmaster. Here's the Ramco, almost twice as thick. Also, it looks like the handle on the Ramco is a little bit larger in diameter than the handle on the Buck. I don't know if you can see this, see the difference here, but the saw blades on the Ramco stick way up high, and the ones on the Buck are a little shorter. The original earlier models were taller, but they lowered them down a little bit, and they seem to work a lot better according to their testing. So there's that. So without any further ado, let's get to doing some knife stuff now. Okay, the wind's blowing like crazy out here. Got the black oxide finish Buckmaster 184, and we're gonna do a little knife stuff with it. Now, I'm not gonna beat this thing up too badly because, like I said, I wanna sell it again, but I do wanna make sure it works and just kind of give you an idea of how it works. So do a little bit of chopping with it. Man, just, whew, I hope I don't mess something up. We're gonna trust Buck because this is made in America. So we're gonna chop this little limb off of here maybe. See how it works. It's kind of wet, so it's not a chopper for sure, but I just want to do some knife stuff with it because I can't do a knife review without doing some knife stuff, right? And we'll just clean it up and see how well it works. So this wood is wet all the way down, and I'm not going crazy with it. I'm not going to go crazy with it. If you want to go crazy with it, I'll sell it to you and you can beat the heck out of it. How about that? But I just want to get the, see if it actually will do some knife stuff. And it's doing pretty good, just kind of, a little easy chopping. I mean, again, it's not designed to be a woodcraft style knife. It is designed for the Navy SEALs to use in, the kind of stuff Navy SEALs do. So, but pretty decent chopping there. But why don't we look at a couple of other functions of the knife? Let's take a look at the saw blade, for example. Let's see how well it's designed to be a pull cut blade. I do know that. So we're just gonna, and it's really designed to cut, again, things like car roofs and and metal type stuff like airplane skins. But we'll just see how well it does on wood as a pull cut. And it's sharp though. It is sharp. It's a nice clean groove there. I know what we can do. How about just some regular old knife stuff? Feathers. It's got to carve feathers, right? I'm pretty sure this is oak, which is not the best feather material. Really not too bad. So let's kick that down there. It's been raining here for, feels like 20 years. So just to be safe, we want to have us a little fire here. We can get the old fat wood out because I love me some fat wood, right? We'll try the old saw on the fat wood. That's pretty stinking good. Look at that, man. That fat wood is just jammed, wedged in between there. I have to clean that out before I sell this thing, I guess. Unless you want a little fat wood bonus. So, do the final thingy here, see if we can get us a fire thing going. I think that'll strike a ferro rod there. I believe it will. And there we go. Not too shabby on the basic knife stuff. Okay. If you've been watching the channel for very long and have seen many of my knife reviews, you may be asking yourself, will he or won't he? And to be honest with you, I haven't made up my mind. I want to, but that's why I didn't baton this thing, because this is not a cheap knife. I just didn't want to beat the heck out of it. If you think it needs to be batoned, then again, it's going to be for sale. after this video comes out, and for the first week you'll have first dibs at it. So I'll tell you the price of this one. I'm shooting for like to get my money back about 375 bucks. So there's that. It is a genuine Buckmaster. They're not making these things anymore. They're not going to be making any more of these. The new ones are not going to look anything like this. They're not even going to be a hollow handle. So the other one will probably be for sale too. I'm pretty sure I'm going to sell this one, although I really like it. Anyway, that being said, I think it did really well on the carving stuff. It did great on striking a ferro rod. The saw is that thing is very, very sharp. I mean, it would hurt to run that across your finger, and I think it's designed again to cut through like thin metal, but it did okay carving a notch in a piece of wood. It's not designed to cut down a tree or to cut a limb off. The serrations are designed for cutting rope and different things, and they kind of shallowed them out a little bit after the first design, so they'll do better on smaller rope, is my understanding. That book's really good if you're interested in the Buckmaster series. Super solid, and just a very, it feels good in your hand. It really does feel very, very well balanced. So which brings us to the $64,000 question. I guess in this case, the $375 question. Do we want to put it on the old balance, orientation, and rotation device and check the balance? And I want to. Okay, I'm going to do it just for you. One time. Please cross your fingers with me, both of them, and your toes if you can do that, okay? Hopefully I have this thing calibrated. That's the big challenge, is the calibration. Yes! She's calibrated, okay, and she's balanced, and we're not going to tempt fate anymore. So I know you were wondering if I was going to do it. Oh man, I'm pretty psyched, because I was really hesitant about that, because if I throw it wrong and it hits wrong, it could be a disaster. So anyway, let's pull it out and see, make sure nothing's loose, okay? Okay, well, man, it stuck in there pretty good too, to about that far. And so we're going to call this one balanced. And I got to say, man, I really hate to sell either one of these things, because I really like them, but I need the budget, okay? I bought them with the intent to resell them, and I got to be strong in my resolve to do so. I do think they're pretty cool. Again, I'll be selling these in the description below if you're interested in them. And they'll be on eBay in about a week, so if you're interested, let me know quickly. I'm telling you, they're going to be between $300 and $400 minimum. If I put them on eBay, I'm going to try to get more than that. But I'll sell them to you if you're interested, for basically what I've got in them. So anyway, hopefully this has been a somewhat different look at a really classic knife, the Buckmaster 184. I hope this has been interesting. As always, thanks for watching Survival on Purpose. I put out a new video every Friday and every Saturday, sometimes random videos throughout the week. If you want to make sure you don't miss a single one, I invite you to subscribe to my weekly email newsletter at survivalonpurpose.com/subscribe. Every week I'll send you an email with links to the previous week's videos, plus any information or news or deals or offers I think you might be interested in. And periodically throughout the year, we'll be having a few special events for newsletter subscribers only. So, as always, I really appreciate your support. Once again, my name's Brian. You're watching Survival on Purpose. Remember, survival's not an accident. So be prepared. I'll see you next time.